We got word that there was a group of mid-level Al-Qaeda people who went to the same Arab coffee shop every single day at 10 o'clock. They would go in, it was 4 of them, and they would just sit and have some coffee, sit there and talk, and then they'd leave by 11:30. When I was in Pakistan, for operational reasons, I grew a long bushy beard and I wore shalwar kameez. I knew they were coming at 10, so I'd go at 9:30, sit there by myself with my coffee, reading the Arabic newspaper, and I never said a word. And I noticed that one of them kind of glanced at me. Didn't stare at me or anything, he just kind of glanced. Yeah, and I didn't react, I didn't nod, I didn't, nothing. The next day, they came in, and he looked at me, and I'm sitting there reading the paper and drinking my coffee. That went for a week. The second week, I'm sitting there, and he comes in, and he nods, so I nodded back. That went on for another week. The third week, he says to me, "Salam." I said, "Wa alaikum assalam." And then finally, one day, he came in by himself, and I told him, "Tafadal.
Have a seat.
Please, yeah, have a seat, sit with me." We start chatting. "Where are you from?"
This is all in Arabic.
Arabic. And he says, "I'm from Egypt." I said, "Oh, are you here with your family?" "No," he said, "my wife is in Cairo with our daughter." He said, "Our daughter's 9, and I have a 5-year-old son that I've never met. His wife was pregnant when he came to make jihad," he said. I asked him what his plans were, and he said, "I'd like to go back." He said, "I'm tired of the fight. I just want to go back." And then I invited him to lunch. We went to lunch, and we're sitting talking about his family, and we're talking about jihad. And finally I said, "I like you. You're a nice guy. But listen," I said, "please forgive me. I wasn't completely honest with you. I'm actually not Lebanese." I said, "I'm actually American." And he looks at me, and I said, "More than that, I'm an American CIA officer." And I said, "And I noticed that you're not running screaming from the room." He said, "I'm willing to listen." So I said, "You seem like a nice guy. That this jihad thing, it's not for you." He said he was in Tora Bora, hiding in a cave, and we fired a cruise missile into the cave. He was one of only 2 people who came out of it alive. He called it the most hideous explosion he had ever heard. Hideous was the word that he used. And when he came out, his ears were bleeding. That's how bad it was.
Did you open up because he spoke about his family and how he mentioned
it was all about the family. That's what at the CIA we call the operational vulnerability. I said to him, "You don't need to stay around here." He said, "Well, what do you want from me?" There was something very specific that I wanted from him, which he gave me. I worked with our Egyptian embassy friends. They made a passport for him. I bought him the ticket home. I gave him a substantial amount of money. And I said, "Before you leave, I have to ask you one question. Why did you allow me to recruit you?" And without missing a beat, he said, "Because I've been here 5 years, and you're the only person who ever asked me about my family."